So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to expand and simplify two binomials. So remember, two binomials look something like this, where we have two terms in each bracket. So there's one term and there's another term, there's one term and there's another term. So the first way I'm going to show you is actually using algebra tiles. We have some of these at the school, but since half of us are online, it's easier to show you with these virtual ones. So all the red ones over here on the right side stand for negative, and all the ones on the left side that are yellow, green, and blue stand for positive. So one that's a big square like this stands for, let me show you this, there we go, an x squared. The ones that are rectangles like this stand for x's, and the little yellow ones stand for ones. And then, like I said, the red ones are all negative. So there we have a negative x squared, we have a negative x, and a negative 1. So if we put these things together, we can work with our binomials and our algebra that we've been talking about. So keep in mind that if we have a 1 and a negative 1 and we put those together, they're going to cancel out and give us 0, because 1 and plus a negative 1 is 0. The same thing happens if we take an x and we put it with a negative x, that equals 0, because x minus x is 0. And then the same thing happens with our x squared and our negative x squared. If we have one of each, they cancel out. And the same thing happens if we have more than one of each. If we have 2 of each or 3 of each or so on, if we have the same number of each, they cancel out. If we have a different number of each one, so we have 2x squareds and a negative x squared, well, only these first two will cancel out, so they'll go away, and all we're left with is this 1x squared that's left. So the first example is x plus 1 times x plus 6. So here's an x plus 1, and here's an x plus 6. So what we need to do is line these things up like this, so that x plus 1 is along the top and x plus 6 is along the side like this. And then we essentially need to fill in the blanks right here. I don't know if you can see what I'm drawing on the screen here. Fill in the blanks right here and make it a big rectangular shape. So when we multiply an x times an x, oops, I don't know, there we go. X times an x, we get an x squared. So those two green ones, to fill in that shape, we have the big blue one. So we have an x squared. When we have an x times a 1, well, 1 times x is just x. So we get another one of those. And the same thing happens here. When we have this x times this 1, we get an x. And then we keep filling these in like this. And then finally, 1 times 1 is just 1. And then I've run out of 1, so I have to take some of these negative ones from over here, if it'll let me, and flip them to make them positive. This site apparently has a limit on how many I can use. And one final one. So what we've done is we've taken our x plus 1 and our x plus 6 and multiplied them together, and we get this total thing in here that is x squared, and then we have 1x here, and we have 6 more x's here. So we have x squared plus x plus another 6 x's plus 6 1s, so that's plus 6. These two in the middle are like terms. Those green rectangles are like terms. So we have to collect those like terms and put them together. So we get x squared plus 7x plus 6. So that's how we use algebra tiles, and that's one way to do expanding and simplifying. We can also draw them if we don't have an interactive website like this. So we can, How do we go back to this? There we go. Generally, the algebra tiles that we use at school are red and blue. So I keep the red ones for the negative and blue for positive. So here we would have an x plus 1. And then we would have an x plus 6. And this is obviously going to take a long time to draw all of these in. But x times x is x squared. 1 times x is x. And we'll have 1, 2, 3. I missed one. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're pretending these are all rectangles. And then we get like that. So here we have x squared. And then here we have x, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them total. So plus 7x. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single ones. So we get 6. So that's using algebra tiles. If we have them to play with in class, it's a whole lot easier. It's a lot harder when we're online. So you can use the website. Another option is to just draw them like I've shown you. The next option is to use this thing that's usually called an area model. I often just call it the box or the grid because that's what a lot of students end up calling it. So what you do is you take the first bracket and the second bracket and you put one along the top and one along the side. So some people just draw the box like this and then put things at the top and the side. I kind of like to have these extra bits hanging out, but it's really up to you how you like it. So here we put our x and our 1. It's a plus 1, so you can put the plus there or you can leave it out. It's up to you, as long as you know it's positive. And then over here we have our x plus 6. It doesn't matter if you put the x plus 1 here and the x plus 6 here, or the other way, x plus 6 here and x plus 1 here. It's okay, either way. And then you just multiply. So this is like a multiplication table. So this times this, the answer will go in here. And this times this, the answer will go in here. This times this, the answer goes here. And finally, this times this, the answer goes here. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is just 1x, so we just write x. This is a positive 6, so x times 6 is 6x. And then 6 times 1 is 6. And then the cool thing about this is that just like over here, we had some x's here and some x's here, and we have to put them together. That's what happens here. We always get some diagonal ones here that are like terms. So we have to collect our like terms. So we get x squared from here. And then we collect these two together. So 6x plus another x is 7x. And then we have a 6. And you'll notice we got the same answer as we did over here. The last way to do this is a little shortcut that's called FOIL. F-O-I-L. And FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. So you look at, I'm just going to duplicate this so it's easier. You look at each of your terms here. So the first one in each bracket, you multiply together. So that's first. Then you multiply the outside terms. So this one and this one are on the outside. And then you multiply the inside terms. So these two are on the inside. And then you multiply the last one in each bracket. So this one and this one. So I'm going to show you with 4 different colors. First, I have to do the first one. So this is the first one, and this is the first one. So I'm going to multiply those together. X times x is x squared. The outside ones are x and 6. So 6 times x is 6x. Then the inside ones are these two. So 1 times x is just x. And then our last ones is the last one in each bracket. So 1 and 6. 1 times 6 is 6. And then, again, we have some like terms here. So we have to put them together. So we get x squared plus 7x plus 6. And you'll notice again, that's exactly the same answer we got every single time. So once you understand why this works with the algebra tiles or the area model, then you can start jumping into this shortcut and just use FOIL as a shortcut to figure out your answer. And the more you practice this, the better you will get at it, as with everything in math.